All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to today's blog. Here to give you a preview of the Indiana Hoosiers for the 2017 college football season. Last year, Indiana did go 6-7 overall, losing in their bowl matchup at the final game of the season in the Foster's Farm Bowl against the Utah Utes. Now, they're actually starting off the season with bad news. They no longer have their head coach in Kevin Wilson, who actually signed an extension at the end of last season that ended his contract up to 2021, but then decided to part ways from the team because he had some disputes with his players, including one particular player who had a back injury in which he forced his player to enter back into a game, which is a big no-no. So he actually decided to part ways and join the Ohio State Buckeyes. So it enters new head coach and Tom Allen, who was the previous defensive coordinator for the Hoosiers. Now, speaking of their defense, they actually have 9 returning starters in the defensive unit, including in their middle linebacker and Tegray Scales, who led the team with 123 tackles with 7 sacks, which is great news for them. Now, they also have the return of a couple of key players in the offensive line, and Greg Couch, Nate Huff, and Jacob Robinson, who all have some great experience. Now, as far as other players in the defensive unit, that is some good news is their secondary, and they have some high hopes for improvement in them, and Marcelo Ball, Rashad Fant, Jonathan Crawford, and Ashawn Wiggins, who all have some great experience, and they're looking to improve this upcoming season in Big Ten play, which they did show a couple of good plays last season, but still struggled overall. But I do see some improvement this upcoming season. In the offensive unit, they're led by quarterback Richard Legal, who's looking to improve as well this upcoming season, who had 3,300 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. He had committed a lot of turnovers because of poor decision making, and especially with the great receivers that they had in that team. I expected a lot better from him this last season, and they're gonna have to play without a couple of wide receivers, including one of their top receivers in Ricky Jones, who's no longer with the team. But they still have the return of Simi Cobbs, who did lead the team with over 1,000 yards, and Nick Westbrook, who's a good speedster at receiver. So that's a couple of great news. But some more bad news for the offensive unit. They actually have to play without their top player in Dan Feeney, who's no longer with the team. He was drafted in this past NFL draft. But they do have some youngsters in Coy Cronk, Hunter Littlejohn, and Simon Stepaniak, who are all sophomores entering this upcoming season. Now, they do have the loss of Divine Redding, who was their leading rusher last season. He did rush for over 1,000 yards, but he actually is no longer with the team. So Mike Majay is definitely looking to step up this upcoming season as the premier running back, and look out for Cole Jess to have some experience, some carries as well at the running back position. Now, if we take the time to take a look at their schedule this upcoming season, I think they have a great opportunity to make it back into bowl contention. Now, let's start off with their first game of the season. For this upcoming year, they actually have a game against the Ohio State. That is going to be very interesting, and I think that even though they have the home field advantage, that is already going to start off the season off with an L. The Buckeyes is coming off of a college football playoff appearance last season. Next week on September the 9th is going to be at Virginia. That should be that can be an opportunity to have a victory, their first victory of the season. FIU is on September 16th, September 23rd against Georgia Southern, and at Penn State on September 30th. That is going to be a good game for you guys to watch, but I think the Nittany Lions will pull off a victory at that. Another good game should be at home hosting the Michigan Wolverines for homecoming. Now, I think this could be a upset alert for Michigan, because this is a rebuilding team, particularly on the defensive side for the Wolverines, so the Indiana Hoosiers can pull off the upset. October 21st is going to be at East Lansing against the Spartans. They did beat the Spartans last season, as well as the Maryland Terrapins, who they had to face on October 28th. November the 4th is going to be at Wisconsin. This is going to be a smash mouth hard football team to face against. The Badgers should pull off off the victory. November the 11th is going to be at Illinois. I think they could pull off a win with that for the Hoosiers. Same for November 18th and November 25th against Rutgers, and rounding up the season on the 25th against the Purdue Boilermakers. I think they could pull off a victory with that as well. Now, I do see this team pulling at least 6 victories, getting back into bowl contention this season for Tom Allen, but I think they could pull off 7 wins. Really, it's all in the shoulders of Richard Legal. He needs to step it up and make better decisions for this upcoming season, and I do wish the best for them because they actually do have a new offensive coordinator in Mike DeBoard, who's entering his first season as OC for the Hoosiers. So it's a little bit of a new learning curve for Richard Legal, but I wish him the best for him. I think he can pull off 7 victories, lead the team to 7 victories for this upcoming season. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be later on this week, in which I will continue with more previews of the Big Ten Conference. Thank you for watching this blog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.